It's the show the establishment
That's
warned you
right. It's
about.
the Dr. Tommy Show. Welcome back. Joining you live from the free state of Florida. I am your host, Dr. Tommy McElroy. And I have a special guest today with me, Mr. Nathan Frankowski.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Nathan is a filmmaker. He is local here in Dade City, living in Dade City, but you came from California, right?
I did, yeah. Before that, it was Canada, then California. Then after COVID, like most other people, got out of California and made Florida home.
Tell me about that process.
So I was in California maybe 20 years. Lived all over kind of Los Angeles on the outskirts, from Lakeview Terrace to Valencia. Then we settled finally in Thousand Oaks, where we had purchased a house in 2016. It was great view. Loved the weather. I have a son, but at that time he was like 10 maybe. And when COVID hit and schools were canceled, and he had to basically do schooling at our, in our family room. And we realized how little schooling he's actually doing. He's quite technical savvy, so he could figure out how to adjust the camera to make it look like he's looking at the camera while he's playing.
How old was he? 10?
Yeah, 10. So he's playing Roblox most of the time. And my wife was, she was getting real fed up with it, because she's the one that she homeschooled him for a bit, then put him back into school. And she kind of was the lead on the education system. So she saw this as not a good thing. We saw it in him, not being able to go out and play. He's just gaining weight, stuck, eyeballs just glued to the screen constantly. And
What year was this?
this was 2020.
So right when it started.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Schools were shut down pretty quick. I remember because he had this, unfortunately. So, we always try to get him into things. He was playing roller hockey. He was doing theatrical stuff, theaters. And he had a big theater play that he was going to do, and my mom was going to come down. COVID hit. That all got canceled. And it kind of sucked the life out of him a bit, where he, all these kind of extracurricular things just kind of went away. And around the same time, my wife's father had a heart attack, and my son and grandpa, Pops is what we called them, they had a really good relationship, but they could never really see each other because he lived in Florida and we were in California. And so my wife just dropped the idea. What do you think about moving to Florida? The house that we bought in 2016, it had just skyrocketed in value.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was a great investment. That was my wife's idea. So when we looked at it, it was like, we could probably make some good money on this. The Florida real estate was, it was kicking up too at that time. But I was just looking through Redfin, the real estate app, and just kind of playing with the idea, seeing what's out there. I find myself, I can really live anywhere as long as you have the essentials, which for me, I've been a filmmaker for like 25 years, and I've only done one film in California.
Yeah.
One film in LA. So you're traveling all over the place.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter where you're at. Now that COVID came out, Zoom started taking off. So all these meetings that you had to be in LA for, you can now just do anywhere. So I thought, and I'm always up for a little adventure, I guess. And that's what I viewed it as. And you always tell yourself, well, we can just move back if it doesn't work, but realistically, moving back isn't.
So y'all
So
decided
easy.
Florida was where you're going to head out.
Florida. We didn't know in Florida, so we were looking all around. My wife originally is from West Palm. We were looking in that area. We looked in Jacksonville. Didn't really look on the East Coast much. And then as I was messing around in Redfin, I saw this house. It was like this.
So the house is what drew you, not the city.
Correct. And so this house was kind of like a mid-century modern, real ahead of its time. It was built in 1969.
Does it have an architect with it?
It does. I forget his name. He was renowned.
It's not Frank Lloyd Wright, is it?
No.
It looks kind of like a...
It does kind of look like Frank Lloyd Wright. And the architect does a lot of commercial, and he did a famous school in St. Pete, I think, or Sarasota. And so it's kind of a commercial vibe to it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Some people that came in said it looks like a bank.
Yeah.
So we tried to warm it up a bit more. But I sent my wife this house just as a joke, because it's big. It's a big house. And
How big is it?
it's 5,500
Yeah.
square feet. And the price was up there.
That's a big house.
And I said to her, I said, if you want me to move to Florida, let's get something like this. Anyways, a couple months went by and that house, I think, went off the market. So it was just forgot about it. Then my wife wakes up one morning and she's like, oh, the house is available. And it's, substantially cheaper.
Wow, cool.
And so we're like, and I'm kind of nervous now because I kind of made that promise to her, but I
Yeah.
was really, thinking it would come true. So
But she was down for the bank house.
yeah, she was down for the bank house. And we called the real estate agent. The reason it dropped is because it had some issues. It had a septic tank, which people tend not to like.
Hell, you can't. I mean, it's State City. You're going to have a septic
Yeah.
tank.
and we had actually in Thousand Oaks, we had a septic tank.
Yeah.
And so we knew it was no big deal.
Yeah.
Even to change one out, it seems like a big mess, but it's
Septic
like
tanks-
$5,000.
I mean, I've lived in the same house for 20-something years, and I've had a septic tank, and it's ideal to me. But I don't know, I'm used to it.
How often do you get it drained?
Every 3 years.
Oh, you do? Okay.
But I do it prophylactically.
What does that mean?
I mean, so you're supposed to get the
gotta
thing
come and
pumped.
pump it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I just do it every 3 years. I mean, I've never had a problem with it.
You hire someone to come out and pump it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And they come in, suck it out, $200. See you later.
Oh yeah.
But
nice and
then,
easy.
I mean, for living here, like in Tampa, people pay sewage and stuff. Like my in-laws, they live in Zephyr Hills. They have a well, but they're hooked up to city water, and then they're hooked up to city sewer. But they have a well that they're not allowed to use. They're only allowed to use it for irrigation. I don't know, whatever the case is. But they pay a water bill, and then they pay a sewage bill, which is higher than the water bill, and it's pretty damn high.
Oh wow.
So a septic tank, you spend $6,000 or whatever it is, put that thing in. See ya.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
I wasn't worried
money in your
about it.
pocket.
Plus, I know when they do the inspection, if a septic tank is older than 50 years or whatever, they're just going to say, oh, it needs to be redone without actually needing to be redone.
Right.
That's what they told us at our house in California, and we never got it redone, and the new owners never got it redone either, and it's still working fine.
I just replaced our original septic tank in 2017. Tracy and I got married 2017, and when we got married, the septic tank was having a problem, and the reason was because the drain field was shot. I don't even know where the drain field was, and the person who owned the house before me actually put a patio over the actual tank.
Over the tank.
Over the tank. So who knows what they did with the drain field. If
Sure,
they put the patio over the tank, there's no telling what they did with the drain field. Anyway, the short of it is when they went to dig it out, they said, look, your tank looks good. It's a concrete tank. It's like 4 inches of concrete. Probably get in there if a bomb went off and
It's
climb
a
out
bomb
later.
shelter. You can handle the smell.
But they said, you don't have to replace it. We could just hook up to this. I'm like, just go ahead and replace it. But so they replaced it. But technically that our house was built in 56. That tank, they said it was fine.
Yeah.
Probably last 100 years or 1,000 maybe.
So that's what I figured with the house that I was looking at in Florida. And it needed, there was a cantilevered closet hanging off the house.
Oh.
And it was looked like it was about to fall off. And when you walked in the closet, like the floor kind of tilts down. So that was a big undertaking, and people, I guess, just didn't want to bite that part off. It was a little dated floors and stuff like that. But we knew the savings from our California house, the money we're getting from our California house, and the savings that the real estate agent put on the house, we could eat that off easily.
Yeah.
So we took it, and our house sold in California in like 7 days. It was bonkers. I mean, we had people calling us, trying to show up and knock, and we're like, just go through the real estate agent. It flew off the shelf. And then so we decided to move in October of 2021, and we were in Florida. We had possession of the house in December 15th, so it was very fast. And they say the most
21.
stressful thing is death in the family or moving, and we did it in 3 months. So
Across the whole country.
across the whole country.
Did you move all your stuff, or did you just?
I tried to sell as much as I could on Facebook, and what I couldn't, we just we got a big semi truck.
Yeah, and they drove it to you.
Yeah,
That's
And,
cool.
There was a lot of people moving out of California at that time, so it was hard to get a mover. But I think I did it early enough. Like as soon as we decided to move, I knew I needed to book it, so I booked it quick.
Yeah, so I think since COVID has happened, Florida has gained 2 seats, and I think California's lost. I don't know, maybe Florida's may have gained more. I mean, they only do it every 10 years by the census, but when they do the next census, I think it's projected that Florida will gain in the House. Excuse me. I don't know how many seats, but substantial, and California's going to lose seats. New York too. So, but that's all it got to do with COVID and craziness. You know, we in our practice here, Tracy was just telling somebody the other day. Actually, she goes to a concierge doctor up the street herself, and she was telling her doctor, and her doctor's newer, about how we started and blah blah blah. And she told her doctor, which is true, that around COVID is when our practice basically matured. We had been in practice since 2013, so 2013 to 2021. We were doing the practice, kind of going along, and I was working part-time urgent care, blah blah blah. You always have to do that unless you have money that someone's invested or you invested, whatever the case is. I was doing that, but then COVID happened. Done.
Really? You saw an influx of
people,
clientele, huh?
For the people like you fleeing, or people who are here and their doctor's like, oh, go to the ER. I'm scared to treat you, or you know, you can come in, but you have to wear a hazmat suit and a mask, and I'm gonna, you know, talk to you by telehealth or something. So people just got sick of it.
Wow.
Which is interesting because it always fit our motto, I guess, is kind of like, screw the establishment. And then these people somehow, and a lot of them through the podcast too, they told me, found us and they said, yeah, I think this is where I need to be. So yeah, COVID was very bad, obviously. But for us, it was good for business.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
And that was one of the hard things because California has great...
it's a golden state.
Yeah, it's got great people, like great professionals, and we had a great doctor, concierge doctor as well. So we didn't know if that was available out here, and luckily we found you. I think we Googled it, found you, and then, you know, Googled who you were and were able to see, you know, your podcast and stuff.
Oh, really?
Thought, yeah.
So you did see the podcast?
Yeah, we saw your kind of,
Interesting. See,
your view on things, and you kind of want a doctor aligned with your, not necessarily political views, but at least how you view life, I think.
Right. Freedom of choice, whatever. Yeah. That's interesting because a lot of people said that. But anyway, and that's what Tracy told her doctor too. Her doctor's actually going to come on the podcast next week. So, but
you're bringing the competition on.
I always do. You know, when I came up, there was a doctor in South Tampa. He's very successful now, named Dr. Griffin. And it was 2008. I was a fellow. Was I a fellow or resident? I was a resident, and Dr. Griffin I think he had just started his practice, honestly. I think maybe he had been practiced for a couple of years. Anyway, so I went to go see him. He had an office with like 2 small rooms on the side. So he had probably like maybe 400 square feet, probably less. Anyway, he talked to me and he encouraged me, this, that, and the other. A couple other doctors, Dr. Robinson, Stacy Robinson, St. Pete. She's very successful too. Dr. O'Neill has been around for a long time. He's in Palm Harbor. All these people always encourage me and everything. And so every person that I come across who I think is a good person, I encourage them because it only helps the more people that are doing this. Because there was a time when this type of practice was in the crosshairs of politicians.
Oh, I bet.
They were saying you're practicing insurance. You need to be, they said you have to be regulated by the insurance commission.
Oh.
Yes. It was really getting scary. And they were saying, well, you know, what you're doing is not allowed because you're offering one fee that covers everything. And you're practicing insurance.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary for me. I was a little scared, not scared like, you know, hiding, but like, you know, I understood there was danger. And then luckily there's been leaders in Florida who have taken the charge and through the legislature and through Governor DeSantis made legislation that says, no, it says it directly. This is not insurance. Direct care, quote unquote, where the patient pays the doctor directly is allowed by law. And it wasn't always like that.
Good.
So, but anyway, I always talk to people because like I said, the more people who are involved, the harder it is for the politicians to come in and just say, yeah, you know what? You can't do that anymore. It's not fair. Because that was the big thing. You know, Obamacare was all about fairness and everyone's got, you know, we had gone in 2010. It's like everyone has to be covered and it's got to be the insurance. The government is going to do everything. That was Obamacare.
Yeah.
And so that was a frightening part. And then we're way to the extreme, like we don't have any insurance involved. So there was always that danger that those people who are still there want to like exert control.
Sure.
But
do they really want to exert control or they just want their insurance?
Oh, yeah. The insurance companies write the bill. I mean,
yeah.
That's the funny thing is when Obamacare was passed, 2010, people were like, "Oh, the insurance companies are going to hate this." I'm like, "What are you talking about?
It forces everyone to use them.
Who do you think wrote the legislation? I mean, do you think these old, demented people on Capitol Hill smoking cigars and drooling spit everywhere are the ones writing this? No. Their staffers are working hand in glove with insurance people, and their staffers are insurance people. And it's like in Washington, everything rotates. I mean, look at the FDA. It's like, here I'm at Pfizer, here I'm at the FDA, here I'm at Pfizer, here I'm at Merck, here I'm at the FDA. It's just bullshit. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to bring her on. But yeah, I always like to have new doctors on.
That's cool. So we got the house. We didn't know anything about the area. All we could see was kind of, what Google Maps showed us. And then my wife came out to visit the house. Said, town's great. It's like a couple miles outside Dade City. And it's in kind of a forested area. So it's, we're on 3.5 acres. Very nice.
That's nice.
But the development is going rampant around us.
Around your house?
Cows and pasture. And now they're building developments.
I wonder what the zoning is. Is there a limit to like how many?
You could think, but man, they don't.
Where
really
I live,
seem
it's
to care.
ASC 1, and I'm in Hillsborough. You're in Pasco. I think you're in Pasco.
Yeah, Pasco.
But you can only have 1 unit per acre, so at least there's that.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
The one that built across us, they said it was anchor lot. At least they're nice houses. They're going for, like 800 to 1.4. So it's a nice area. That's kind of the silver lining. But I feel like the influx of people, they don't build the roads to
absolutely
sustain all this new development.
I don't know how they're going to do it, honestly.
Yeah, I got 3 more lights I have to stop at before I hit the freeway. Well, that's just a pain.
I used to be in Wesley Chapel. And so people not familiar, Tampa is south of Wesley Chapel. And so I used to have to travel I live in Lutz, and Lutz is a little bit north of Tampa, northwest. Anyway, so I traveled to Wesley Chapel. It used to take me 15 minutes. This was back in 2013 when I first started. Yeah. And then by 2018, we moved here because it got too difficult. It went from 15 minutes to 30 just to travel 9 miles.
Yeah.
And now it's probably worse. But you're right, Pasco County, they don't build the roads quick enough.
No. But Dade City is a very cool town. It's kind of got that old-timey, kind of like a quintessential Lifetime movie town look. Mm-hmm. And so it's quaint. There's no like gap downtown or anything like that. It's, it's still got its, it's an old bank.
It's got a historic district
and jewelry store, Yeah. So it's like they're keeping the historical look. Hopefully they do keep it. They got a great coffee shop there. Since we've moved, they've had like 3 new restaurants pop up, wine bar, cigar bar.
Nice.
So it's,
we have some patients that moved there from South Tampa, and they love it.
Yeah.
They got out of South Tampa because they don't want to be in South Tampa, and Dade City's where they went. But I do know it's getting busier.
Yeah, we're hearing that story over and over. People moving, some even from down south, like West Palm area, kind of trying to stay in Florida, but find an area that's not as populated. But
tell us about. I know you're working on several things, but what about the screen? Can you talk about that screenplay that you're doing about?
Sure, I got a bunch that I'm working on currently.
Let's see about the one about the Bible.
Oh yeah, so I got there's let me just give you a rundown of what I'm working. So the first one I sold 2 options last year. So you write a screenplay, and then an option is basically a production company or producer buys the rights to make the film. And then I'm attached to direct those the screenplays
if they do them.
If they do them, correct.
And how long do they have the option for?
There's usually like a expiration date of a year, and then they have a chance to re-up it. Okay. And then they can kind of continue going along that route. So the one story that I've had for a long time is based on my favorite Christmas carol, which is The Drummer Boy, and kind of looking at who's this drummer boy? Where is he? What's his story? How did he? This obviously isn't in the Bible. It's a carol, but in the carol, how did this drummer boy get to the birth of Jesus? And so we look at his story. I've positioned him as a street performer, an orphan kid who performs in the street. he can really bang this drum and he's really popular. But there's kind of an overseer who steals all of his money, basically.
Like a Dickens type.
Yes, exactly. And a little bit of Cinderella locks him up at night so he can't get away because he's his bread and butter.
Nice.
And then 3 wise men come through town and he overhears them looking for a king. And so he gets real excited. It's kind of tied to his history and his father, what his father told him. So he feels like he needs to go see who this king is. And his idea of a king is, the world's view of a king, which is,
guy on the throne.
Powerful Herod. And so he's excited about that. And he ends up escaping his overseer and stows away with the wise men and just goes on an adventure story from there. The difficult part for that is it does end at the manger. And so how do you the movie's about the drummer boy and his arc and his change, but ultimately ends with the birth of Jesus. So the focus becomes that, but then how does that change his life? So that was kind of the difficulty in that, but I think we did nail it. And the producer of The Chosen, a guy named Chad Gunderson, I did a film with him called Unlimited. Do you remember Fred Thompson?
Yeah, absolutely. Senator Fred Thompson.
Yeah, that might have been his last movie.
Oh.
And so Chad produced that with me. I directed it, and he's the one that purchased the option. And so right now
So you're pretty confident it's going to get done.
Yeah. And so right now we're reworking the story a bit. When a producer buys the script, he'll want to, their goals are to make it commercially viable. And so that's not my first instinct. I mean, it is my first instinct, but I want to make a good story that's moves my heart. And then they get the kind of, it's the merge of,
Have you seen the movie? What is it called? Dang it. It's from the people who did Spinal Tap.
Oh, like a mockumentary?
Yeah. But there's a movie. I can look it up while you're talking.
There's I know Best in Show.
Well, there's one where they're making a movie about a Jewish holiday called Home for Purim.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Anyway, it's about what you're talking about. So they're making this movie. I'll look it up, see what the name of the movie is. But they're making this movie, and it starts off as this little indie film about being home for Purim, and it's all nice. And then it gets picked up, and then they start. It's called For Your Consideration, 2006. Christopher Guest.
Oh,
anyway, it's they pick it up, and then people start getting invited onto these shows, and then before you know it, this guy's getting plastic surgery, and then at the end of the day, it's called Home for Thanksgiving. So they change it completely. Yeah.
Oh, I think I have seen that. Yeah.
Home for Purim.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh gosh, it keeps going.
So that's the little drummer boy, and then I have another one that got optioned. This isn't. This one is. There's a company called Loam Entertainment, and they're looking for like family-friendly stuff. They have a film coming out in this month. It's called Bad Counselors, and it's about a couple frat boys who get in trouble, and they have to do community service. And so the community service they choose is to go and work at a Christian camp. They're not Christians, but they have to pretend to be Christians to work at this camp. So it's kind of a comedy style. So that was their first one out of the gate. A friend of mine was working with them. I sent him a script. The name of it is Epic Zombie Christmas. And the story is young film. It's kind of based on my experience as a young filmmaker. And basically high school kids, there's a competition, a short film competition, and the winner gets $1 million production deal. So these kids are well motivated. They want to make this. The only caveat is it has to be a Christmas movie. And they hate Christmas movies. They hate the Christmas cheese. They hate the Lifetime, the formulaic, small town, woman meets man kind of stuff. And so they're very disheartened. They thought they could make their zombie movie, but they still go ahead with it. They just figure we'll just throw some Santa hats on the zombies. They get into trouble, and they're grounded, and they are forced to work at a retirement home where one of the kids' mom works. As they're looking around, they realize a lot of these old people kind of resemble zombies in a bit, and especially in the mindset that they're at. So they decide, okay, let's do this, but we have to use these old people as the cast and crew. And the arc of it is that they learn that they're standing on the shoulders of giants, basically. That these old people have so much to offer.
Right. They're not just old.
No, exactly. And even in filmmaking techniques, and so they actually go and buy an old Bolex 16 mil camera because they don't have money for a high tech camera. So they're going back to the roots of filmmaking and using the retirement home as a setting, cast and crew. So it's got some great heart and it's got some great comedy. Obviously, it's comedy gold when you got zombies and old people. And so that one, it looks like it could go later this year, which would be very exciting.
You mean go? Mean
start production,
start making it.
Yeah. So that one would either film in Georgia or Kentucky.
So how long would that be?
This one, so it's going to be a lower budget, and lower budget is like $1 to $3 million, which is low nowadays. And so we got about 20 days to film, but that 20 days is that's the quickest of the three.
Okay.
You have development and then pre-production. And
how long are those days?
Production and then post-production. They're long.
Yeah, like 18 hours or 20,
12
50?
hours is kind of...
I guess there's like laws you have to go by too.
Yeah. So, you got unions. And so, but that's the crew, the director and his, my assistant director and all this, we were working, 2 hours before, hours after. So they're like 16, 14-hour days. And sometimes 6 days a week. So it just becomes...
It's a grind.
It's a grind. And it's the most expensive process of it because you're spending hundreds of $1,000s a day. You don't want to reshoot anything, so you kind of got to get it.
Nail it
the first time around. You don't have the money to do reshoots. So that's where pre-production comes in with the planning. So you're usually on location for a couple months of pre-production, then shooting, and then post-production. I also edit, so... it's kind of where I started with editing. And so I do have my own editing suite in my house, and that process can be about 3 months.
Wow.
And then after that...
How is AI helping you with that? Is it helping? Or no?
It helps in concept right now. It's great for concept art.
But with editing, it doesn't...
No.
Oh, really?
No, and I don't know if I'd want it to.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, if you needed to, like, say, make this clip run into this at this scene and boom, make it happen.
I think what I would use it for if I needed to, like, maybe create some establishing shots.
Oh, okay.
But that's more on the production side of things.
Right, pre-production.
Yeah. And so, AI is a very interesting thing, a new development with filmmaking. I always thought it would go, and I think a lot of people thought that the writers would be the first on the chopping block, but it looks like the opposite.
Oh, really?
It's the camera guys, the production side of things, because it's creating images,
right?
And now motion images very well. It still can't write. I try to feed it something, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
there's
it can't
something
write it.
Human quality.
Can't write it like you can write it.
Exactly, and it doesn't. Writing is based on experience and your human interactions with other people, and it might be able to emulate that at some point. It's not doing that now, but the images that it generates are fantastic.
I've used AI to make my games. A lot of them. The concepts came from just like not crazy, but just like random ideas. And then but I've used AI to help me brainstorm. That's where I found it's good.
Bouncing ideas. Yeah.
I say, I think this doc is this. And then Copilot will run off with a string of things. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, but no, AI is, like you said, it's changing things. I think in the future, there's going to be definitely a place that you can just go to a kiosk or whatever, put your finger in, get your blood work, maybe go sit down 15 minutes, come back and have your full game plan done, completely eliminating the doctor. As long as you're willing to do that.
Yeah. I
mean, no, seriously, I think it's within the realm of possibility. And there probably will still be a doctor, just kind of like there's a doctor now reviewing things, like reviewing nurse practitioners' notes and things like that. But there may be one doctor reviewing 1,000 AI doctors, and the doctors, they just go in there and click, check.
Yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
like a marijuana doctor where he just like looks at it and goes, yeah, sure, you can have it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Your back hurts? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I know.
Yeah, just kind of a check. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that because medical is based on just information and gathering that information. I guess the history of the patient is where, you want
Well,
the
just
doctor
like you
to
say,
know.
you say, they can't write. AI can't clinically reason the way a doctor can with their experience.
Yes, exactly.
Because your experience is what guides you, or guides me at least.
Yeah.
Things, I remember this and this, and just data alone can't give you that. You have to be able to interpret that in the context.
Yeah. Well, my son comes in, he sees Dr. Tommy, and he had a nosebleed the other day, and it just wouldn't stop. And when we asked chat, it goes to the extreme. It's like, you need to get to emergency care now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you follow the advice of AI medically, it can lead you down some extreme paths I found. And then you say, it's 2 a.m. I'm not going to do that. And it goes, oh, that's fine. There's other things you can do.
Right.
Well, why would you say go to the emergency right away? I mean, that sounds extreme. So my son's all worried and it's a nosebleed,
Yeah, no, they can, and especially with lab results. Results, and it used to be the old joke is I Googled it, and this is what happened. But with lab results, you can have a high, some level, and then you look online and it's always going to tell you have cancer, the first thing.
Without knowing that, you might have had a hamburger before the blood test.
Exactly. Or you may have been riding your bike a lot and now your PSA is high from that.
Yeah.
But otherwise it told you have prostate cancer. So,
It doesn't have good tact either with delivering the bad news.
What do you think about, I know you're a filmmaker. Have you looked into this making series, or writing for series? How is that different? Like Tulsa King, for instance. How is that different than writing
a feature?
Yeah.
Like a movie?
Yeah.
I think with the series, you usually have you have the beginning concept in which they'll create like a show Bible, kind of lays out how the 10 or 12 episodes are going to go. But then they usually have a writing staff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more involvement with like a writer's room that comes in. And then you can get feedback, maybe not so much on streaming now, but you can get feedback of what characters are working based on, as the series rolls out, people reaction.
So they don't shoot them all at once.
They do probably now for streaming. But I know there's still some that follow the old procedure. And then you can, if you find one character's, they really like it, or you can kind of push that angle a little bit more.
I was watching this thing with Timothy Oliphant, I think it was, and he was on with the guy that used to be on ESPN. I forgot his name. Anyway, he was on his show, and he was saying that when they were doing Deadwood, the director, David Milch, or the producer, creator, whatever, David Milch said, this kid, he's not working out. We're going to kill him. Because he had some kid on the show, a cast member, who's, I guess his parent was like some pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
In the studio and doing this and that. And the kid was Timothy Oliphant's character's son.
Oh.
He's like, we're going to kill him. So.
Yeah. So
but I guess, back then they were shooting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of leeway where you can kind of read the market, or at least read how it's going and make some pivots. In a film, you don't have that. Sometimes there's editors that are cutting along as the film's getting made and then can suggest certain things. I haven't had that because I'm the editor, also budget kind of restraints on the stuff that I do. What you shoot is what you get. And maybe AI can open up some avenues where you can add a shot here or there to help out. I haven't edited a feature-length film since 2023, so AI wasn't there yet, so it'll be interesting to see.
What does he think the problem, or if there is a problem at all, with Florida and shooting films? I mean, I've read about it. It's mostly taxes, right?
Yeah, so there's incentives that the states give the filmmakers, and it's basically how they justify it is saying, because you're bringing money in, we'll give you this money back. And, there's usually some surplus, hopefully. So hotels, when you make
Sure,
a movie, you have
absolutely.
to bring in cast and crew. So
Absolutely.
you're looking at 40 hotel rooms.
Yeah.
They have to eat.
Yeah. Go
They
have fun.
They have to play.
Yeah.
So they view that as income coming in, and so they'll give a rebate based on that. Georgia is maybe one of the highest now. I know Oklahoma, I filmed there, has great incentives. Florida had an incentive, and I did a movie in Florida in 2012. It's called To Write Love in Arms. It was filmed in Orlando. Kat Dennings was in it. Rupert Friend, Chad Michael Murray. And I think we were the last one to use the incentive. And the producer on that was the film commissioner in Florida,
Oh.
a guy named Paul Sermons. He's local to the area now. He was in St. Augustine, but now he moved. I think he's in Murata. Great guy. And so I know now that the state won't do it. They're going after counties. And so counties will give certain rebates. There's a film I think they just wrapped, or it's a series based on The Land Remembered. And they went to, because it's a Florida story and it needs to be told in Florida, and the filmmaker really wanted to make it in Florida.
Absolutely.
They were able to get some money from the state. I'm not sure
What do you think they don't want to, though?
I think because it
lack foresight, or they don't care, or
it looks like you're choosing one industry over the other. And why give the film people incentives and not incentivize other industries? So from a fiscal point of view, I could see that argument.
but if you're going to make money, at the end of the day, it's kind of like the Laffer curve.
If you come out on top,
Right.
Yeah,
If you lower taxes a certain amount, you get more tax revenue. That's what people don't understand. When Ronald Reagan was in office, they lowered taxes, and then tax revenue went up, which was predicted.
Yeah.
Because people spent more money investing it, and that generated more tax revenue downstream. That's called supply side economics.
Sure.
People didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody didn't believe it. Obviously, people like Ronald Reagan believed it, and William F. Buckley. But I guess, I don't know. I guess I would think that it would be good. It would be good to have Florida, because everybody knows that Georgia's I don't know if everybody does. I know that Georgia's a thriving place for films.
Yeah. And a lot of people
It'd be
moved
nice if
from
Florida was a
to
thriving
there.
place, because Florida, I think, God, the money that is made in Florida on tourism beats everybody. I think it even beats California. Florida is surrounded by beaches on 3 sides. No other state has that. Florida, I think, has the ability to be the real Golden State. It's just a sunshine state, but the real Golden State. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think movies do bring some kind of a prestige to an area if you know that something's been filmed.
Yeah.
I know there's one, is it the Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah, that was filmed partially in Lakeland.
Yeah, so everyone's talking about that house and go see that house.
Oh, yeah, I used to go get my shoes where they had that.
Okay.
The downtown's place where the barbershop was.
So it brings a certain pride to a community if the movie's good.
The Punisher was filmed in Tampa, partially.
Okay.
Remember that?
No.
That movie, The Punisher? The original. The one people say is the best. They blew up a bridge in Tampa
In the
for
early
that movie.
2000s, that one? Okay,
Yep,
yeah.
that was partially filmed in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
There's a scene in there where they blow up a bridge that was blown up here in Tampa.
Nice.
And then there was a film that was made, I don't know how recently, it's probably been 10 years now, but I remember it like it was recent, then about Ybor City. And they wanted to film it in Ybor City. Guess where they filmed it? New Orleans. Because Ybor City, it just seems stupid to me. I don't know.
Yeah, so hopefully that we can work out some incentive. I know Texas even has an incentive.
Yeah.
And they're a pretty conservative state.
Yeah.
And they're filming a ton there.
If you could make any movie, whatever, what would you want?
Well, that's a tough one. Probably what I'm writing. I think The Drummer Boy would be one on there. I'm also finished a script based on the Book of Jonah.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Which is
you told me about that.
It strays a little bit from the biblical story. There's not much in the biblical story.
But I think that's what's cool.
Yeah,
That's what it allows you to do.
Yeah, so
you can extrapolate.
Exactly. And I play a little bit of fantasy element with it, but the heart of it is the story of Jonah. Someone who hears the calling, and then refuses to go. And so I've positioned it so the reason he refuses is is very practical and very emotional, and the audience will understand it. That the Ninevites, who he's called to go to Nineveh, that these Ninevites are a brutal people who come over to Israel and capture their women and children and enslave them. And Jonah's family fell victim to the Ninevites. And so when God tells him, go to Nineveh,
He's
and,
like, okay.
and preach my word.
Well, he's like, no, I don't want to preach.
First he thinks, maybe I'll go there with my sword in my
Right.
hand and teach him a lesson. Thank you, God, for this vengeance.
Right.
And then as he's on his journey, he realizes,
That's not why he's going.
Yeah, it's not why he's going. And so he says, sorry, God, I'm out, and jumps on a boat.
And then you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And
You refuse the boss.
And God comes a few times and gives him a few options to get out. He all of a sudden they just see like a boat floating past that's going in the opposite ways of the waves and of the wind. And the people have never seen this before. All these kind of things happen, and Jonah is still, he knows it's God. That's the interesting. He doesn't.
But then he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to continue.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do it. It's not like he's scared. He's not scared. He would go. He
just doesn't want to. He doesn't agree.
He doesn't agree that Nineveh should be saved.
Right.
That God's mercy should only be for the Jewish people.
Right. It's that's an interesting thing, because I could totally see that being legit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Moses. Moses, at the end of the day, did not even get to go to the promised land.
Correct.
Because he did not follow God's orders.
He hit the stone,
and he didn't say. He said, "Don't hit it."
Yeah.
And then so he saw it, but he did not get to. He did not go there. I mean, Moses of all people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he keeps his word, I think, as far as.
Oh, definitely.
So I think that makes sense for Jonah.
Yeah.
It's
and then the hard part was he has to spend 3 days and 3 nights inside the whale. And so looking into the story.
How do you do that narratively?
Yeah. And then doing some research, you read some old Jewish kind of commentary on the book. And a lot of them say that he might have died. And those 3 nights he spent in, their version of hell. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because, Jesus rose on the 3rd day. So there's all these kind of parallels. So I place him inside this giant whale. It's kind of a beast, not just a whale, but a giant.
Not like a blue whale, but some type of
kind
different
of
type of whale,
dinosaur-looking whale. And when he's in there, it kind of goes into Dante's Inferno a bit, where it is kind of a hell, and he travels through the chambers of the whale's stomach, which is biologically accurate, how he would be digested. And the deeper he goes, the lower the whale sinks to the bottom, and the more gravity's pushed on him. And so he starts reliving things from his past down there. And then eventually, God is, through these revelations, forces him into submission. And when he finally gets it, that, it's not about his own plans, his own reasoning. He has to trust God. And when he does decide that, he gets barfed up on shore. And as soon as he gets barfed up on shore, the Ninevites are at the same beach, and they capture him to bring him back to Nineveh to enslave him. Oh. So that's how he finds his way back there.
So was it hard that narrative part when he's in the stomach? Is this mostly psychological, physical? I mean, do you describe
both? Yeah. So you have to describe that is difficult because you want to do a little bit of research. What it would look like inside, but there's not much to go off. So I've just kind of like, let's make this a bit of a fantasy element. And then you get to this,
maybe hallucination a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And then this is where AI can get fun, is that you start feeding prompts of what it could look like. Where before you'd have to, unfortunately for these graphic artists, you would hire a graphic artist.
Oh yeah. Graphic artists,
500,
kind of work,
$1,000 a day. So for me, just to be able to prompt and change and stuff, to visualize what I'm thinking. And it's not necessarily that's what it'll look like when we're filming it, but it gives the emotional content to what it should feel like. Yeah. That film would be very expensive to make. So hopefully technology can bring the cost down of it to make.
So how far away is that one from being like shopped?
Probably, not shopped yet, but I have sent it to producers just to get feedback.
Well, they call it like a spec or something.
Yeah. So you send it out, and then this is the process in which you hear people's responses.
Like, this sounds good, or then maybe not do that.
It's difficult. You don't realize, you're kind of your own stuff feels right
Mm-hmm.
because you've justified it somehow in your own mind.
Yes,
and
and
that
then someone
justification doesn't go in the script sometimes, so people aren't
Mm-hmm.
seeing exactly. So sometimes you're like, well, this is because of this,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, well, that's not in there. So
Mhm.
you're like, okay,
Yeah.
simple things like that.
Oh yeah, I found the same thing. I've written, and granted, I'm not writing with people, but I've written stuff for some of my games and stuff online, and I'll write it, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, what do you mean? You don't understand? This guy's 1,000 years old." They're like, I was like, "Oh yeah, I knew that."
Yes,
but I didn't
exactly.
say that in the story yet.
Yeah.
Somehow I have to put that in the story, but it's kind of like in your mind, you knew it. You
Exactly.
created it.
Yeah.
You know he's 1,000 years old. How come no one else knew that? You should know that.
And it's hard to read. I wish I could erase my memory and then read the script.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the
Right.
first time, because you'll never get that as experience as a writer to read it.
So did you start off writing screenplays, or did you start off writing stories, or how does that work? Because, I mean, to me, writing a screenplay seems very difficult.
It is difficult.
Technically.
It's
Because
extreme.
you're like, the patient or person is sitting at the desk and
So
talking to a microphone.
You can't
Yeah.
write in the way that novels write. You can't
Yeah.
write thoughts in someone's head. So everything needs to be communicated visually.
Right.
That's one of the big differences. Actually, interesting enough, where I got my start way back. So I grew up in Saskatchewan, Canada. Regina is the name of the city. It's got a couple 100,000 people surrounded by wheat fields. There's not a lot of concerts coming there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was a safe place to grow up, but not a lot happening. And so and I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and for a kid in Saskatchewan to think he could make movies, it just didn't make sense. Like, why? There's no industry at all. Why would you even think that? But when I first started school, so my sister's 2 years older than me. I remember she started kindergarten, and some reason in kindergarten, they give you a report card, and she got straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
And then my turn in kindergarten, I got straight C's. And I remember this moment of like, oh, like I really thought I would get straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
And it came back and I thought, oh, I'm one of those guys, you know? And it was just this hit to my perception of myself that, you know, I'm not student smart anyways. I didn't know if I could see it at that age that kind of way. But 2 years later, I'm in grade 2 and, you know, not doing great in school. I have a learning disability called being a boy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just bouncing all over the place, love pestering and bugging people. And I was in English class, and my teacher, Miss Lawson, I still remember her name. I can't remember my neighbor's name sometimes, so it's amazing I remember her name. She has this project for us all to write a story, and it's just open book. Just go and write something. Can be about anything. And so every half an hour of each class or each day, at the end of the English class, we would just start writing. And so I just had this idea called The Treasure, about these kids that go on this treasure hunt. So I start writing it down, and every week these kids are handing in their story. I'm still going. And it became a thing where these classmates are looking, oh, when's Nathan going to finish? When's Nathan going to finish? Oh, he's on page 50, page 70, page 80.
So did they have to write new stories, or they're just done?
Yeah, they'd probably start a new one.
Oh, okay. So
But
you're
I'm
just
still on my
continue. You're
original,
like a
and you
serial.
see my pack just start
Yeah.
going bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And I like this kind of feedback. I think that's probably what, you know, some kind of emotional, positive feedback from the students, and then handing it in this 100-page, you know, just being able to drop it on
Yeah.
her desk. Not only that, but I don't know if it was that good, but she liked it so much that they published it in the library for the school. Now, I'm a horrible English student. I mean, language is not my forte, I guess. And that's kind of bad for a writer, I guess. But I do have ideas, and
Right.
I like to express them. And I was able to draw pictures in this book too, and that came through in this published laminated version. But that was kind of my first inkling that maybe this was the direction to go.
So would you, if you could, I mean, if there was a way to make a movie based on just a story rather than a screenplay, would you think it was easier to do, or would you prefer
Yes.
to write that way?
Oh yeah, if there's
Like, here's
I
my
think so.
story, now write a movie about it, versus
Yeah.
here's my story, now let's transfer it into something that we can shoot from.
No, I find that if you have, because the hardest part is finding your, you know, beginning, middle, and ending that all flows together. If you find something that has that and flows, and then there's the payoff at the end,
Yeah.
a lot of the hard work's done. There's still a lot of hard work of making characters people care about, you know, dialogue that doesn't sound AI.
Mm-hmm.
But but like that hard part, and this is something that it took me 6 or 7 screenplays to get, is that payoff and the your main character, what is his change? What would he do at the end of the movie that he wouldn't do at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
And a lot of movies don't have that, but if you do have that,
character's flat.
it just it makes the transformation so much better. But so after that it was like I got this book thing done, and then I remember reading a Dick Tracy book. It was on the making of Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy just came out, and I'm in my library at school, and I opened this book, and it's the behind the scenes of Dick Tracy, and I was just mesmerized by they're on a stage, and you can see the big stage, and it's in a warehouse, but then built within the warehouse is this little set, and it's like through the camera lens, it just transports you to another world. And I've always loved that aspect. I loved going to museums, and they have the
dioramas.
They have like little you'll see elk, and they have fake grass, and they'll have this like painted skyscape, in the background, lit nice. Yeah. And I just love that it kind of transported you to that area. Though I know I'm in a museum, right? When you look at it in a certain way, so that just kind of that fascinated me. And so movies was kind of like a great escape in the same way I wanted to transport myself.
Let me ask you one thing as a filmmaker. Do you know how movies now, Blu-rays, whatever, they have director's commentary on it? Yeah. I have watched one of those before, and then I never watched another one again. Do you know why? No. Because it ruins the movie for me. Oh. Because then I know it's not a movie. Sure. I know it's not. I mean, I know it's production. Mm-hmm. I did that once. I started watching The Godfather director's commentary because I love The Godfather. Yeah. And then Francis Ford Coppola is talking about, in this scene where Vito Corleone is meeting with Michael, we're in this studio, and we just have this light coming in from the window, and it looks like he's looking outside. And then when he looks outside, we just put the scene of the wedding, and then it looks like I'm like, well, shit.
In your mind, it's messing with it because you connected the two environments.
Good Lord. Yeah. Yeah. It just ruined it.
Yeah, I love that stuff because
you know how it worked.
And I love tricking the audience into thinking certain ways, and especially in environments. You walk outside of one, or you walk out one door and you're in another space. When those are in two different locations, but the audience believes they're in the same location. It's just, I love that kind of.
Yeah, I do too, because I've made some stuff with my little videos where I've done that, and it's fun to do that. But as a someone viewer watching it, I don't want to know that when Tony Soprano, every time he walks out of his house onto the pool, that's not even the same place. One's a set, one's a house. Sure, I know that though, because I've watched the commentary. So now I know every time that Carmela's looking out the window and Tony's floating in the pool, she's looking out the window into nothing but a set. Yeah. And Tony's floating in the pool, and this was shot 2 weeks ago. Sure. So anyway, that kind of thing but that's why I don't watch them.
But don't watch just watch the movies you don't like. You can watch the commentary. Yeah. So the ones you don't care about.
But I do like to hear what the filmmakers like to say about it. I mean, yeah. What do you? What's your favorite genre of film? Do you have one?
Not necessarily. It's tough. People always ask me my favorite film, so I kind of built a list, and a lot of it is. They might not be the greatest movie, but they're the movie I needed to see at that time. Oh, okay. And it's like something that I was going through in my own life. The movie spoke to me. Okay. A good example of this is, it's probably like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a movie called The Gray. Have you ever seen that? No. Liam Neeson. They're Alaska oil workers, and they're on a flight, and then their plane crashes, and now they're in the middle of the snowy wilderness, and these wolves, like a whole pack of wolves, are after them, and they start picking them off one by one. And basically, Liam Neeson's left, and he has to decide to fight this wolf. It's a great action film, but for me at the time when I was watching it, there's just something that just spoke to me. And it's like, if I'd watched that, 3 months earlier, it probably wouldn't have had the same impact. Yeah. But probably the classic one I would go to is a Coppola one, which is Apocalypse Now. Oh yeah. I love that movie. I love everything about it. This kind of fantasy element to it, based in historical Vietnam War, based on Into the Darkness, which is supposed to be in the Congo. I love the psychological aspect to it, laced in history. So that I think.
Brando
movies.
I know Brando did that. He did that just to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And Brando, I think he did it for $1 million, and Coppola, put him in the movie. And then every time he would send him the script or whatever, Brando would write, "Oh, let's do this. And every time he adjusted it, he became less and less on the screen and more just about talked about.
Which helps.
Which for Brando was done because he didn't want to work.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it works beautifully.
Yeah.
Because you're like thinking this whole time, who is this guy? This freaking
mystery guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he finally shows up,
yeah.
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I think, and like I said, in retrospect, Brando did it and he didn't really want to do it, but he did the same thing with the Godfather. I mean, actually he did want to do the Godfather because he made some concessions to do that, but he didn't really want to work that hard ever, really. And, at least later in his life, but, it works in that movie just because he's so limited on the screen. And when he's on there, Brando's such a
force. Yeah.
magnetic.
And if you had too much of that, it might be
they'd be like, oh, here's the guy again with the orange face. He's scary.
Yeah.
But he's just on there for, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. He's just this presence.
I do love that. It's, I call them happy accidents. And my movies are full of them because when you're tight on budget, things happen, but when it turns out to be better for the film, it's just like, wow.
Yeah. It just
a
happened.
good example of that is Jaws, in that he couldn't get the shark to work. So he kept having to, show the effects of the shark rather than showing the shark.
Right.
Which made it so much more scary.
Right. Because he's not on the screen.
Yeah. You just see him
see the
bump into
girl.
the boat or the fin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, if it was all the time, like, oh, here's the big shark again.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
exactly.
Scary.
Yeah.
But the shark's only there for a little bit of time. Same thing with the Brando. Yeah, he's just there.
Exactly.
There he is.
So and Hitchcock did that too a lot, where it wasn't about the thing, it was about, just outside the closet, maybe seeing a reflection
Right.
of it, rather than seeing the monster itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always tried. I'm a strong believer in that. I did a kind of a horror film, spiritual horror film called The Devil Conspiracy,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a wacky, out there concept about someone grabbing the shroud of Christ and wanting to bring Jesus back with the DNA. But it goes into angels, and we got the devil in there, and we have this beast. And so, we had this guy in this costume. He's actually the guy who played Darth Vader in
Oh my
one of the
gosh.
movies. He was Spencer is his name. Awesome guy. He's like 6'6",
Wow.
just a beast of a man. So we got this whole concept thing on him, like this. It's like a foam suit with this gross head and stuff. And I made sure, we just see him in the shadows. Because when you look at him up close, especially like, it's so funny, you're walking around on set and he's sitting there drinking a Coke and his outfit.
It's like, oh, there's the monster.
And I was like, I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? I want to just kind of feel it. So
Right.
that idea, kind of the Jaws idea, helped,
Yeah.
I think make it more scary.
Yeah. And Nosferatu, they kind of did that. He wasn't on camera very clearly a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The Dracula character. The most recent Nosferatu.
Yeah, that was interesting. I liked his voice in it.
Yeah, they said that he didn't. That's not audio processing. He did that voice.
Wow.
He somehow made that voice.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and the people on set, I saw a little clip about it. They said they were like scared the shit out of him.
Wow.
Like he scared them.
I
Like
bet.
hearing that, was just like, oh God, because he actually talked like that.
Sure.
There was no processing.
Speaking of Apocalypse Now, his wife was making a documentary at the time of the making of Apocalypse Now, and I think it's called In the Heart of Darkness.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
I've never seen that.
Oh, you should, because the stuff he had to do, it was a nightmare.
I heard it was a production from hell.
Oh yeah.
Took over a year, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and they would be filming a scene, when you have you have helicopters coming in and they're, napalming an area.
Yeah.
It's like a day to set up for that.
Yeah.
And so just before they're filming, there's rebels fighting in the Philippines. So the army has to take the helicopters away from production and go and fight these rebels.
Yeah.
So they can't get their shot that day.
Yeah.
They spent, a couple $100,000 on getting it all ready.
Yeah.
But the practical effects in that are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think practical effects is probably a lost art, but it's such a great.
I try to use them as
idea.
much as I can because
It's so
it does
easy
look
now
better.
the AI it.
Yes, but the reaction from the actor. Take a gun for an instance. Like guns on set now are a big no-no.
Scared because of Alec Baldwin.
Because of Alec Baldwin, and shooting blanks. But if you hand them now, it's typically an airsoft gun. It still kind of gives the same action, but they never react how a real gun, especially if you have an actor who they're seen as like let's say a housewife and a burglar comes in the home, right?
Right.
If she's got an airsoft gun,
She
and
can pick it up and blow
yeah,
more
no
like Dirty
reaction to
Harry.
it. But if you put a blank in there,
Yeah.
you know, the blank sounds and kicks
scares
just like
you.
it scares you. And
Yeah.
so that natural reaction,
So y'all don't use those anymore? Like you try not to?
yeah. And
Yeah.
airsoft is a lot easier, and you put the muzzle flash in. The great thing, when you do the blank, sometimes the frame won't catch the muzzle flash because it's so fast. So sometimes you just put it in
Well,
post.
heck,
But
what's his name? Brandon Lee was killed by a blank.
yeah, it was like
Something was stuck in
yeah.
there. And the blank killed him. Crazy. It's really scary. I mean, it's really sad. He's a good actor.
Yeah, no movie's
Short
worth
time.
someone's life, that's for sure.
No.
But practical effects like smoke and fire and all that kind of stuff, I still like to use that as much as I can because anything to help the actor feel like they're in the real set,
Yeah.
I think is better for them and then better for the film. You'll just get a better performance.
How do you you work with like a group of producers? It sounds like kind of
Differently, yeah. Each movie, there's some that kind of hop on to the same kind of films, but a lot of times it's different producers.
Yeah.
Not all the same all the time, but yeah.
How do y'all meet up and like say, hey, I want to talk to you? I mean,
Yeah.
how does
So
that work? I
it's
mean,
just
how are people
communicate.
like in the business? Are they kind of stuffy? Are they nice? Or are they all different types of people?
If you know them, they're and you have relationships with them, it's just
Is there
like,
ego, a big ego?
oh yeah, super
Oh,
big
yeah.
egos.
Really?
But a lot of it's just going to be like how you and I would communicate. These are the producers that I do know, and so it's emailing, it's calling. But I'm not a great networker. That's probably my one knock as a filmmaker. And so, and I also don't like selling myself. And so I don't have that hype man thing. And so, that's, as a filmmaker, you kind of do need that to get it has nothing to do with filmmaking, but it does get you into the door. So that is something that historically I've struggled with a bit is, putting myself out there, going to meet people. It's just not in my DNA to kind of be that guy. But luckily I've made great relationships. You've been in the business for, 25 years, you're going to meet people. And, people back, my first film I did, it was called No Saints for Sinners. We shot it for like $60,000 in LA. It was the only film I did in LA. And this was 2008. And it was, we shot it in 10 days. But I still keep in contact with those producers and kicking ideas around.
What do you think about, you talked about budgets, that's a low budget movie. 3 to 10 mil, or what do you say, 1 to 3 million is considered low budget.
Yeah.
It seems like when these people are making movies, and I say these people, like the big Hollywood movies, aren't you setting yourself up for disaster when your budget's $200 million? I mean, I guess every now and then you're going to make $1 billion, but my gosh, how much money?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And so they typically don't go into that unless they know that they'll get it back. And so the revenue stream is like 10 years after the film.
Oh,
So it's box office,
merchandising.
You got secondary markets, now is streaming, the DVDs, and then goes on cable. So and it just keeps slowly feeding. I don't know what it is, maybe 70% is paid out in the first year or something. But a lot of it's up front, but it still generates, licensing fees and all that over the time. The problem with those movies now is they have to be so generic and appealing to everybody that they kind of end up appealing to nobody.
Yeah.
And so you see this superhero fatigue going on now. Supergirl came out. I don't think it did too well.
Supergirl, did they put that out?
Yeah.
Remember Batgirl, I think it was called?
Oh, that didn't even come out.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
They smothered it in the bed just to take the tax write-off.
So what a lot of people don't know is you spend $200 million on a movie, you're spending 150 to another 200 on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cheaper for them to not put the movie out there, because then they would have to throw bad money at it.
That one movie that I was talking about, Batgirl, that actually had a great concept, and I thought it was an awesome concept, and they could still do it. To bring Michael Keaton back as Batman.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I thought, man, they should make a full standalone movie with Michael Keaton as Batman.
Like an aged Batman?
Yes. And make it kind of like Unforgiven.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I like
I've
that.
actually written with AI some ideas about it. But you take Michael Keaton, and he's basically, his time has passed, just like in Unforgiven, the time of the gunfighters has passed, and somebody goes, maybe a detective or something, and they got to find this guy that they called Batman. I don't even know if he was real Batman or not. And they go find Michael Keaton, and here he is.
That's great, yeah.
And then they're like, bring him out of retirement.
And he kind of does things the old school way.
Yeah.
They kind
And
of,
practical too. Not like, maybe he's obviously not going to be repelling and stuff, but he knows how to blow stuff up or surprise people or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. But I thought, man, Michael Keaton's still alive. He's still able. He's a fit man. He's in his 70s, but he looks
still
great.
acting, yeah.
Man, that was a goldmine to me.
Sure.
And I don't think, and the thing about that is I'd do it like the Joker.
Yes, small. It feels smaller.
Yes.
Realistic.
Yeah, not this
handheld camera.
Yeah, make it like the Joker. Make it a character-driven thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
No,
they definitely need that new blood, because I think there is that superhero fatigue.
Yeah. Did you see Joker 2? Did you? I never saw it.
I never saw Joker 2 just because.
Did you see Joker?
I did see Joker.
I know Joker 2 was panned.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it because it was panned, but maybe I should see it.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the same director, was it?
Yeah.
It was?
Because I forgot his name.
I mean, it was amazing, that first one.
The first one was good. Yeah. And I shouldn't have done this, because most of the time when movies are panned like that, I think they're great. Like Bad Santa 2, I didn't see for the longest time, because it's like, they said, oh, it sucks, it's no good.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Bad Santa was one of my favorite movies. And I said, well, that sucks that they messed up Bad Santa 2. Can't believe Billy Bob Thornton would do that. And then I actually watched it. I think Bad Santa 2 is a good movie.
Yeah,
it's not a great movie, but it's a good movie. And Kathy Bates is in it. She's hilarious.
Oh yeah, she's great.
I think it's if Bad Santa's, like, call it whatever, 100%, I'd say Bad Santa 2 is 75, 80%. And I don't know. But yeah, I probably should have watched it.
The big thing now is that they're going after these internet IP, because there's a couple films that came out by YouTube creators.
Really?
One called Backrooms did really well, and then Obsession, which did really well. So that's kind of the new looking ground for Hollywood, is to go after these this internet IP.
Well, it's been good having you. I want to just show you this. Did you ever see this? I don't know if you watched Deadwood.
I did, yeah.
Look at this. This is hilarious.
Stand a better chance.
This is Titus Welliver doing David Milch impersonations as he's auditioning different people for the role of Swearingen on Deadwood. This is awesome. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's one of my favorite things on the internet. Al Pacino.
Al, first off, I want to thank you for coming in. I understand that there was some type of apprehension on your part as far as pursuing the option of doing a television show, and I'm sympathetic to that.
So that's Milch.
The confusion that I'm experiencing based on our phone call that we had, as short as it was, the apprehension on your part, international film star that you are, I believe that the possibilities for this show to be a big-titted hit, for the lack of a better word, would really stand a better chance were we to have a man of your stature in our corner.
If there was anything that you might have sensed or perceived as apprehension, David,
That's pretty good.
it's the fact that I have never explored the foray
He does
into
5 people.
television.
Wow.
So I'm a little apprehensive. But HBO, it's HBO, it's not TV. What I want to say, we're having an open dialogue. I think that it would be great if the character of Swearingen, nothing extravagant, suffered from some type impairment, be it maybe a stutter like that would be good. Or maybe a facial tic. When he got angry, his eye would tick, something like that. Or even you could go as far to have a limp, like a grate sort of dragged his leg, as if maybe he was trampled by a horse, or he got hit by a barrel that was rolling down the street when he was 4. The other thought that I had is that I think it's imperative that the character has to yell every now and then, "Shut up!" or "Fuck you!" or "You're out of order," something, you know. As long as there has to be,
it's imperative.
I think the nuance of this character is that he likes to shout.
I think that Al, all of those ideas are great.
One other thing,
He cuts him
and then
off.
I'll let you talk, is I think he's a great cook. And I think that because the show is sort of a metaphor of the melting pot of America, he would be a great cook. And I think in the first episode, he should be making a pot pie of some sort.
I like the pot pie. I think that's great. So what I have to do now is let me digest that, and subsequently, after I put a 44 Magnum in my mouth, I'll get back to you.
He does all kinds. He does Christopher Walken. The last one he does is Robert Duvall.
Oh,
And Robert Duvall's talking about he wants the guy to dance, and then by the end of it, Milch has had enough. Anyway, well, thanks, man, for coming on. It's been great.
yeah, let's do it again. Maybe when I
yeah.
get the film going, we can talk about it.
Absolutely, or talk about anything.
Cool.
Nathan Frankowski, Dade City filmmaker. Where could they go to see your film listings? Like IMDb?
IMDb, yeah, they'll be listed there.
Yeah.
And then I'm not on social much, but LinkedIn, you can see my stuff there.
The movie that you did with in St. Augustine about the Indian.
Mumford.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix still.
I watched it on Netflix, I think.
Mumford the Chickasaw Rancher.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great movie. I like the scene where he's they're at the campfire or whatever, and these guys just kind of come up. It's kind of like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you know, it's kind of like scary.
yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Nathan Frankowski, the Dr. Tommy Show. Thank you for listening. DrTommyShow.com, audio and video. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye-bye.
Hello, Jimmy. Good to see you. You owe us money.
Let's take a little drive. I know a place. That's no good. Here's how it works, kid. Pick a square, answer me straight.
Honey, that one's obviously wrong. You'd roast anyone who picked it.
If you answered every question, Teresa, we'd get home early. You did good, kid. Don't spend it all in one place.
It's the show the establishment